Hi, I'm George Pearson. In this Photoshop Elements video, we'll be making this composite picture right here, and we'll be doing that from these two photographs. In this one, I happen to like the faces of the parents, and in this one, I like the face of the kid. So I'll take this head over here and place it over here, giving us this final composite image. Now, if you enjoy this video, make sure you click that like button and, of course, share with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you want to learn everything about Photoshop Elements, take a look at my complete training, and you'll find a link for that up there in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, let's get to it. Taking these two photographs back here and combining these into this new photograph looks relatively straightforward. You take the head from this child and put it over here. But there are some little problems that you need to handle as well. This isn't just a real simple swap. There are a few little things. Now notice over here, the flower is away from the child's face, and over here, the flower in the hand is in front of the child's face. So we're actually keeping this hand, or these two hands right here, and putting this face in behind on those two hands. Also, notice the change in positions of the parent's face. The child's head moves over here a bit, and the mother moves her head in as well. So there's also that little problem. So I can't just do a straight swap. One more little thing in here that needs to be addressed. Let me just close this down. And that is that these pictures are different sizes. Let me show you that so you can really easily see this. I'm going to just dock this up here, and I'll dock this one right up there. Now if I switch back and forth, you'll see how this is closer in and this is a little bit further away. So we have to also get these sizes as close as possible when we do this, so that we'll then have a good match on everything. So several little problems in here. So it's not just a real simple face swap as you would expect, but again, not hard to do, relatively straightforward as long as you understand the process on handling that. A couple of things first before we start. One is that you can get these two pictures. I have them on my materials page for this video. Either look at the cards up there upper right hand corner and you'll find a download link over there, or in the description and you'll find a download link for the pictures in the description. The second one is that I'm using floating windows here just a little bit. If you don't have floating windows set up, go up to the edit menu, come down to preferences and general right there. In here, make sure these two check boxes are checked. Allow floating documents in expert mode, and also enable floating document window docking. What that does is this is allowing floating documents, and if I move it up here, it locks in position. That's allowing docking. Okay, so we have all that set up. Now we need to get these two to match in size. That's our first thing. So what I will do is I will take this image here. This will be our top image. This is our bottom layer. This will be our top layer, taking the child's head and putting on top of that head. So I'll take this layer here, this image, grab the image up here that says background, and drag it over here onto this file. That's why I'm using those floating windows, so it's easy just to drag and drop between the two. We can now close this picture down, and I have both of the images now inside of the same file. If I show and hide that, you can see there it is. There's the two images. You can really see the difference in size here as well. So we need to adjust the size on this. Now to do this, I want to just take one of the people and use that as a reference. It looks like the mother moves her head position the least. So we'll use her as a reference. Now take the opacity. Let's bring this down to about 50% or so. It's 53%. I'll just type in 50 here. There we are. And you can now really see that. I'm on the move tool. You see right there it is. And I can move the image around. And if we kind of put her chin, so her chin matches down here, you can see that her head is too large. So I'll grab the upper right hand corner up here. On that, I'll just drag this down, and let's just do a little bit of adjusting our size just like this until I get the chin down here and the top of the head at the same size. You can also look at the nose. There will be a slight change in position, but we're getting pretty close right there. So it looks like if I match the chin up, we're pretty close at this point. I'm going to cancel this for a second, make it a bit easier to see this. Let's just enlarge this window. and we'll zoom in. There we go, much easier to see now. The problem by zooming in too much is I can't grab the upper right hand corner, so we need to back out enough so I can see that. And there it is right there. You can see that upper right hand corner there. And get the chin pretty close. It doesn't need to be exact. None of this has to be really precise, but just a good close. Now at this point right here, it looks like the chin and the nose are just about right, and the eyes are just about right. She's moved her head a little bit on the angle, so the hair's a little bit different position, but the height of the nose and the chin look good. Let's just check our baby head size. If I put the baby chin and top of the head, that looks like that's just about right. So our size now is good. Choose OK, and let's put the opacity back up to 100. So just a little shift, not much, but just enough so that they are basically the same size. Their positions change, but they're basically the same size. Okay, next thing we need to do is to take out just the head from the baby. And we'll do that. I'm not going to cut this out. We'll be using a layer mask so I can go back in and make adjustments if we need to. Go up to the layer mask button, click on layer mask button. Here's our layer mask. When it's white, it shows everything. If it's black, it hides. So I want to come in and paint black all around here and leave it white just around the head. Now to make that real easy, let's just grab the polygonal lasso tool over here, and I'll just click a little selection. I'm not going to go right up against the child's head. We don't need to do that yet. We may need to make adjustments on that a little later on, but right now let's just get ourselves positioned. I'm going to come down in through the top up here, make a little selection like that. Let's invert this selection, so select inverse. So now the outside area is selected. Go over to our brush tool. It's a real small brush. I'm going to dock this up here again. There we are. Let's change the brush size, bring it up fairly good. Now on this, I don't need to have a soft edge on this at this point, so I'm going to change this to a hard edge brush, which is just fine. It's just any of these. 13 is good. So that was 19, which is all right. And bring it up a little bit. That's pretty good, 65. Now, if I come around here, I'm just painting right around the edge of that, and what it's doing is it's hiding the area out here. You see that better if I just hide that background. And there it is. So we can now paint out this area outside, leaving just the head, which is all we want from that one picture. And it's just a matter now of just going through and using the paintbrush here to paint black onto that layer mask. You could try doing a fill, but it tends to mess things up sometimes. I just found it faster just to do it this way. Now with that little window scroll right there, I was just using the wheel on my mouse to get that window scroll. And a little just paint around, painting black. You can see it right over here. I'm painting black right on the layer mask. And that just hides that part of the picture. I can show you that again in just a second once we finish this paint out and get this other part of the picture all hidden. Again, wheel on the mouse right there to scroll up and get everything else out of the way here. There we go. Now once this is done, we can compare the head and adjust the position of the baby's head, make sure that is about the right spot, and then we can begin working on the little details. Again, little wheel mouse right there, and that finishes off that cleanup. Okay, so show the background again. Now if I go over here to the layer mask, notice the light blue outline about it right now. If I right click on that and disable layer mask, there's the original picture showing everything. If I right click and enable, that hides it again. So using the layer mask allows me to hide that without actually cutting it out, so that saves that potential here to go back in and make adjustments if we need to. Okay, let's go ahead now and deselect and let's look for problems. See one right up here. We have a little problem right there, and a little bit right down in here where the chair isn't working. And let's show and hide that baby's head. Okay, positioning is good. So we're fine on the position. So we have a little bit of hair right here, which is not bad. this little bit right here we need to fix, and that chair, we need to fix that. Now I'm not really sure where this is, so let's just show and hide this. And what I'm seeing there is a little bit of the background head. You see right there. So that is the background picture shown. So I need to make this layer mask here a little larger to get rid of that. That's the background showing through. So white shows this part of the picture. So let's change our color over here to white. Go to the paintbrush, and then also come right over on that and just kind of make sure I'm on the layer mask, lift the light blue outline. There it is. And then just a little tap right there. Now I'm seeing a little bit of the mother's nose in here, so that needs to be fixed as well. And that's in the other layer. So in this case, I would need to hide that. You see how it's kind of a process of going back and forth a little bit to get just these edges exactly right. So let's go back to black. I'll bring the size down, way down here on our paintbrush, and then do black over that. Tricky right there. We're just kind of overlapping. So let's hide this. This is the background layer, and I'm not really being able to get that clean by using just the layer mask. So I need to extend the white background in the background picture into the baby's head here. Now I don't want to touch that background image. So to do this one, let's go down here to our background and let's make a new layer above that layer. Here's our new layer. Go over to the eyedrop color picker right here. Click in the background. That'll give us our white color. You can see there it is, our white color. Back to the paintbrush, and I'll paint that white right on that bit. So I'm putting a little bit of white up here above the background and below this image. That way I'm not actually touching either image. So I'm keeping both the images clean. Okay, that fixes that little bit. The hair is okay. That actually is the foreground hair, so we're fine there. Let's scroll down just a little bit. And we need to get this little bit of the chair back in. Let's see if we can find where that is. I'm going to do that. All right, that is the layer mask, as you can see, on the top image. I need to clean this layer mask out right here. Now we can do that either with a selection or we can try painting it in. Either will work. Again, it's just a layer mask fix. Let's try a little magic wand, see how well this works. Make sure you're on the correct layer up here and you're on the right side, the image side. Now that didn't work too well down here. We're kind of missing part of our edge right there, but it did work well up in here. So I think we're pretty close on this. So I want to hide this bit, and that's going to be black again. So let's switch our colors over to black. Go to our brush. Now this time I want to have a soft brush just in case. So let's scroll up here and find a soft brush. Let's do 13, looks pretty good. And again, we need to paint black in here, but I'm on the wrong side. Let's just undo that. When you change brushes, sometimes it'll put you back over here to the image side. So double click on the layer mask, make sure you're on the layer mask, painting black, and we are hiding that little bit of that chair. So that takes care of that. There's a little bit right in here, as you can see, a little bit of hair showing in, and that's from the other baby. We can fix that by going down to layer 2, back to the color picker, eyedropper, click in the white area. I'm clicking in here, not just choosing white because it's not exactly white. Let's take our paintbrush, make sure on that layer 2, and paint that in, and that cleans that up. Okay, and then just deselect. So that's now clean. We can come in here and do a little better job on the edges right in there. You know, come in real tight and just do a real careful fix on that. So let's just make this absolutely perfect. Just a little bit of the picture showing in there. So to fix that, let's see if we can see where that is. Okay, that is the background image right there. Notice here's the foreground image. That's the background image. So I need to have a little bit of the foreground showing in here. Let's see if we have our chair is in there. I think we can actually take in some of this hair and make that work. But it's going to be a layer mask fix. Let's go back to our layer mask up here. And let's just do a little more of a hide on this bit. So back to our brush. We're hiding, we're using black. Make my brush even smaller for this. And let's just come in here and see if we can get that to blend in. There we go. So that now looks real nice up in there. Okay, that's all fixed. Let's just zoom out a bit and see how we're doing. The last thing we need to fix now, everything is okay over here, is this hand right down there. Notice that we actually are losing that hand in there. So to fix that, let's come down to our bottom layers, hide those two layers, come down to the bottom layer, and let's make a quick selection right around the hand. Middle of the flower is fine, just around the hand. All we need is a part that's actually over the baby's face. Let's make a selection here, go up to Layer, New Layer via Copy, and let's rename this. This one is the hand, so you know what that one is. Take this hand layer, put it above our head image up here. Let's just show these. We can rename this one as well. That's the baby head. And for renaming layers, this is just a white background. I'm going to call it white cover since we're covering the background with white on that one. Okay, so there's our hand sitting on top now. If I show and hide that hand layer, you see there it is. So all we need to do is just clean up the edge of the hand in here. Let's zoom in on this. And we can do this with just a real careful little polygonal lasso. I just want to hide that bit. Now same thing, so we can come back in and clean this up. Let's make this a layer mask and make the adjustment on the layer mask. I'll start down here in the white area. I have my feathering set at 1 pixel, and I'm just going to make a selection right against that edge of that finger right here. Now take your time with this tool. What you're doing is you're clicking and then you're repositioning for your next click. So it's a click and then a little move and a click. Each time you click, that locks that line in at that point that you just clicked. So take your time on this. If you click too fast, the selection will collapse. You'll have to start over again. So breathe slow and easy and take your time. Find the spots you want. And you can kind of see on the edge here where it's just a little bit out of focus, right on the edge of that finger. You want to be right just inside of that slightly out of focused edge is what we're trying for. And just slowly come around. Again, take your time on this one. There's no rush. And let's move over to this finger. I'm going to take it clear down over to the flower a little bit so we're well away from the baby's face on this. And just kind of come back around, a little nail right there. And we'll do just a little bit of the flower. Right like that. And then down and around. And back in again. Now this part is selected. I want to invert the selection. So select, inverse, and then we need black outside here. So back to our paintbrush. Still on a soft edge brush. You can see right there in the soft edge area. And let's just come in here and paint right along that edge of that selection. There we are. And then let's make our brush size larger and clean up the rest of that. And all the way around, scroll up a little bit and any little bit that's showing up in there. Okay, that takes care of the hand. Let's just deselect that. So select, deselect. Hand looks good. Right in front of the face. Last little thing I saw right up in here. A little bit of that background showing up here. Let's go back down to this layer. I think that's on this layer. And that is right there. Unless I have some cherry behind, which I don't. So let's go back to our layer mask on this side. I want to hide, so I need black in here. And it's just a little move like that. Let's go to our paintbrush. Soft edge. Now be careful up against the ear here. We don't be working on that ear. So I'm going to again come in and using my 1 pixel. Let's make a little selection right along here. We'll use this selection just as a mask to make it easier to paint in this edge. Come down here to that finger. There, back around. And I want to hide just that little bit. So to hide that, we're on our black paintbrush. Now I went too far here. We're showing some of that background again. So I need to hide that bit with our white cover layer. So let's go ahead and come down to the white cover layer. Let's make sure we're on the right background color here. Eyedropper, click right there. Back to our paintbrush. We're still inside of our selection. And just a couple of taps in there hides that a little bit. And that's done. Go ahead and deselect. Looks nice and clean. Let's set this back to fit screen. And there we go. There is the baby's head moved over from the one picture into the other picture. Again, just a few little things we had to clean up in here to make it a good match. And of course that size adjustment, but there it is. So really straightforward actually, but with just a few little tweaks you have to watch out for to do a good clean job. Let's just bring this up a little bit larger so you can see that better. Zoom in a little bit, and there we go. So there is our new combined picture using the faces that we like from the one picture for the parents and the face we like from the other picture for the baby. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.